Hi friends, welcome to yet another video from your favorite YouTuber Designed by Tola. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a very easy tutorial on how to cut and sew this beautiful outfit you're seeing right now. This beautiful short bubu gown with a v-neckline and side drawstrings. Guys, this tutorial is very easy and trust me, you're going to really enjoy it. So if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, you're seeing my face for the very first time, or you're here on this channel for the very first time, please do well to subscribe, like, and also share. Let's move right into it. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to be folding your fabric into 4 folds, which means that you're going to be cutting both the front and the back neckline together. So here it is, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now the next thing you're going to do, which is you're going to be cutting out the necklines. For the necklines, I'm going to be coming in by 3 inches here for the wideness, and I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch. This is for the back neckline, and then for the front neckline, I'm going to be coming in by 3 inches wideness and then a depth of 8 inches. That is for the front neckline. Now I'm just going to connect it into this 3 inches mark. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to measure your shoulder measurement divided by 2. For me, mine is 8, and here is 8 inches. I marked it. Then from this 8 inches, I'm going to determine the length of my sleeve. For me, the length of my sleeve is 12 inches, and here is 12 inches. So the total from the nape to the sleeve length is 20 inches, and I have this 2 inches extra allowance, which I'm going to use for the hemming of the sleeve. Now after you're done with that, on this same mark, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inches, which is the shoulder slope, and I'm going to connect the shoulder slope here to the neckline just like this. Then from the shoulder slope, I'm going to come down by 13 inches, which serves as my sleeve opening, and on this 13 inches mark, I'm going to extend this 13 inches line like this, and here serves as my bust line. So on this bust line, I'm going to be putting in my hip measurement divided by 4, which is, so just measure your hip divided by 4. All right, mine is 11 inches, and I'm going to mark it here. Now I'm going to be adding extra 5 inches sewing allowance. Add extra 5 inches allowance for the freeness, because this bubu gown is a free gown, not fitted. So add extra 5 inches for the freeness, and then 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So in sum total, this should give you 17 inches in total. So now this, and I'm going to be marking this 17 inches on the length of my gown. Now for me, the length I use for this gown is 40 inches, and then I added 2 inches extra to hem the gown, which in all total gives me 42 inches. So I'm going to mark my 17 inches on the length of my gown like this, and then I'm going to connect using my straight rule right from this point here to the length of my gown, just like that. And that is, so to avoid this pointing effect, I'm just going to curve it a little, just like this. And then guys, we are literally done with the cutting of this gown. But I'm going to be sharing with you a secret. I'm going to be showing you something important about this bubu gown, so you need to watch this to the end. Now the next thing we're going to do is just to cut this out, and that is what we're going to do next. Now this particular measurement can be used for a size 10, a size 12, and a size 14. So friends, after cutting, we're going to cut out the facing for the necklines. But honestly, I lost the clip. I didn't know my phone wasn't recording while I was cutting the bubu dress and while I was cutting out the facing. So I'm going to make a recap of this. So to cut the facing, you're going to be folding your fabric into double folds like this, and then we're going to place the necklines, starting with the front neckline. We're going to place the neckline on the fabric just like this. Then you're going to trace the neckline out, trace out the neckline like this, then trace out the shoulder. Then you're going to extend the facing just like this, and then you cut it out. You're going to do the same thing for the back as well. You're going to fold the back neckline on your fabric just like this. The same thing applies. You're going to trace out the back neckline, okay, trace out the back neckline, and also trace out the shoulder. Then you extend this, like this, and then you cut out. So this is the back facing, and here is the front facing. So after turning your necklines with the facing, both for the front and the back, this is what you should have. So here is the front and here is the back. Now the next thing you're going to do is and also remember to top stitch. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to open up and take the facing just like this and join the front panel to the back panel like so, and then turn with the facing like this. And then you're going to go over to your sewing machine and stitch all the way with half of an inch. You're going to be stitching this together, both the front and the back together with half of an inch, all through to the end of the shoulder like this, all through to the sleeve length. You're going to be doing the same thing to the other side as well. You're going to pick up this facing and turn it like this, turn it to the back. All right, turn it like this, and so you're going to be stitching together both the front and the back alongside with the facing with half of an inch like this, all through to the sleeve length. Now after you have joined both shoulders, the next thing you're going to do is from this shoulder point here, you're going to come down by your waist measurement. Mine is 16, so I'm going to mark 16 here, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side as well. I'm going to mark 16. I'm going to make that into a straight line like this. So my waist measurement divided by 4. Now remember that this is the center point. All right, just follow this center point. That is the midpoint. Now your waist measurement divided by 4, you're going to be marking it here. For me, my waist measurement divided by 4 gives me 9. So this 9 inches, I'm going to divide it into 2. All right, which is 4.5. All right, which means 4.5 on this side and then 4.5 on this side as well. And I have this rope which I have made, and here this is 2 inches wide. Okay, this is 2. I've turned it inside out and it's just 2 inches wide. So, and for the length of this rope is 30 inches. So 30 inches by 2.5. Now I'm going to be placing it on this side like this, and I'm going to be stitching it in on this mark that I have, and as well this also is the same thing. So then I'm going to fold it in like this as well, and I'm just going to stitch. All right, I'm going to stitch like this on this line. So this is going to make for the belt which is inside of this bubu gown. Now after I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come ahead to my sleeve. Remember that we added 2 inches for the sleeve allowance, so I'm going to be folding in that 2 inches on this sleeve like this. So I'm going to measure 2 inches. So I'm going to measure 2 inches, and I'm going to be folding in these 2 inches like this. So I'm going to fold in half of an inch, and then I'm going to stitch it down, which means that for this sleeve allowance, the hem, I'm going to be having 1.5 inches as the hem of the sleeve. Okay, I hope you understand what I have explained here. I'm going to measure the 2 inches that I added earlier for the allowance for the hem of the sleeve. Then I'm going to fold in these 2 inches. When I fold in these 2 inches, then I'm going to fold in like this with half of an inch, and I'm going to stitch all through down, which means that I'm going to be left with 1.5 inches as the hem of my sleeve. I'm going to repeat the same process for the other side of the sleeve as well. So friends, after stitching in the inner belt just like this, and then hemming the sleeve just like this, the sleeve opening both sides. Now the next thing we're going to do is you're going to come down to the length of your dress. You're going to be folding in. Remember that we added 2 inches extra to the length of this dress. All right, so from that 2 inches we have used ½ inch to stitch down the shoulder. Now we are left with 1.5 inches. So I'm going to be folding in that 1.5 inches as I'm going to be folding down the 1.5 inches like this, and then I'm going to fold in half of an inch like so, which means I'm going to be having 1 inch left for the hem of my gown. I'm going to repeat this process for the front panel and the back panel. I hope you understand this. We are left with 1.5 inches. We added 2 inches extra sewing allowance to the length of this dress. We have used ½ inch to stitch at the shoulder. Now we are left with 1.5 inch. The 1.5 inch remaining, we're going to be folding it in like this. Right, and then we're going to fold in half of an inch in, so which means we're going to be left with 1 inch. So that simply means that the hem of our dress is going to be 1 inch wide. And I'm going to do this for the front and the back panel as well. But after I'm done with the folding of the hem, I'm going to stitch down the sides of this gown with 1 inch, which means that from the sleeve opening here, I'm going to stitch down from the sleeve opening here. I'm going to stitch down by 1 inch. So I'm going to measure 1 inch like this, and I'm going to stitch down by 1 inch like this all through from the sleeve length down to, from the sleeve opening down to the side, down to the hem
of the dress. So guys, after stitching after having this side and then stitching down the sides by 1 inch, now the next thing to do, which is the final step to take on this making of this bubu. So let me turn this to the middle so that you can understand what I want to explain. Now this is the side. So you are going to make a rope, a tiny rope like this, a very tiny rope like this, and this rope is half inch wide. As you can see, the rope is ½ inch wide, and for the length of this rope, the length of the rope is 34 inches. It's 34 inches by ½ inch. Now you're going to be making 4 of this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now on the side here, right from the hem of this gown, I am going to measure 16 inches. So I'm going to mark where I have 16 inches. I'm going to mark it here. Now I'm going to take one of this rope. I'm going to put it inside like this, and then I'm going to be folding in with ½ inch. So I'm going to fold in like this. Make sure you do not stitch on this rope you have. Now I'm going to fold in ½ inch, starting from this 16 inches mark, and I'm going to stitch down like that all through to the hem of this dress. Then for this other side, I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll put in the rope like that, and then I'm going to fold in with ½ inch and stitch down. So this is how it's going to look like after you're done stitching. Then when you're done, you come here to this 16 inches mark, and then you're going to top stitch on it like this. So you're going to repeat the same process for the other side of the gown as well, and then you are done with making of this dress. That is how simple and how easy it is.